Have you ever looked at clear aligners and just wondered, how? How does this seemingly simple piece of plastic move teeth with so much precision? It really does feel like magic. But the secret sauce isn't in the plastic itself. It's in the hidden blueprint, the master plan that guides every single tiny movement. So let's peel back the curtain and see how this all really works.
All right, here's the roadmap for what we're going to cover. First, we'll uncover the aligner's secret strategy. Then we'll get into the actual science of how a tooth moves. We'll ask the big question, move them one by one or all together? We'll see how this is all done in the digital age, tackle some common hurdles, and then we'll take a peek into the future, which is getting very, very smart.
Okay, so let's start right there with that master plan. Because what you don't see is that behind every single successful clear aligner treatment, there is a super detailed strategy that dictates the entire journey right from start to finish. And the industry term for this master plan is staging. Honestly, you can think of it like the architect's blueprint for your smile. It's way more than just the final goal. It's the incredibly detailed, step-by-step sequence that maps out which specific teeth move, by how much, and at what exact moment across every single aligner in the series. Now, this is what makes it so different from old-school braces. Aligners don't just push constantly. Instead, each one delivers a very specific, controlled force for a short period. Each aligner is a tiny bit different from your current teeth, and as the plastic tries to spring back to its intended shape, that's what creates the gentle force. And here's the really clever part. Certain teeth are intentionally held still to act as anchors. This gives the moving teeth something stable to push off from. It's a whole system of push and pull, and it's all planned out digitally before you even try on aligner number 1. That planning is pretty incredible, right? But to really get it, we've got to go a level deeper into the basic biology. I mean, how on earth does a solid tooth move through solid bone? It sounds impossible. So let's get into the science of it. It's actually this really cool biological dance. It all starts when the aligner applies that gentle, steady force. This pressure signals the tissues and ligaments that hold your tooth in its socket, and they respond. On the side getting pushed, your body breaks down a little bit of bone to relieve the pressure. And on the other side, where a gap is opening up, it builds new bone. It's this constant process of remodeling that lets the tooth literally navigate its way to a new spot. So here's the key. That force isn't just a random push. It's created by the very precise, very tiny mismatch between where your tooth is right now and the shape of the new aligner. That tiny little difference is the engine that drives the whole biological process forward, one aligner at a time. Okay, so we know how teeth move. Now we can get into the big strategic question that every orthodontist has to answer for every single case. When you've got a bunch of teeth to move, do you try to move them all at once, or do you move them in a careful sequence? And this isn't a small question. The answer has a huge impact on how predictable, how efficient, and ultimately how successful the whole treatment is going to be. So, what's the right call? Well, let's put them side by side. Moving teeth sequentially, one or two at a time, is like a beautifully choreographed dance. You get much better control over your anchors, the forces are distributed perfectly, and the outcome is way more predictable. On the other hand, moving a bunch of teeth simultaneously can sometimes be faster, but it's really only best for super mild cases. Think of it this way. If it's not planned perfectly, simultaneous movement is like everyone trying to cram through a doorway at once. It's chaotic and you lose control. And check this out. This is a perfect real-world example of sequential movement in action. Let's say you need to make more space by moving your back teeth further back. An orthodontist won't just try to shove them all at once. No way. They'll move the very last molar first. Once that's in its new spot, it becomes a solid anchor to help move the next one forward, and then that one helps move the next. It's this brilliant step-by-step process that keeps everything stable and makes sure you don't lose that precious anchorage. So you're probably thinking, how in the world is this complex, sequential planning even possible? It sounds almost impossibly intricate. Well, this is where the magic of modern technology comes in, and the true power of that 3D blueprint really comes to life. The power that digital staging gives orthodontists is just mind-blowing. They can literally visualize the entire treatment, from the first aligner to the final smile, before anything even begins. They can tweak the plan, try different approaches, and achieve a level of precision that was pure science fiction just a generation ago. They can even plan for these little tooth-colored buttons called attachments, which act like handles to give the aligner extra grip for those really tricky movements. And it's not just about planning for a smooth ride. It's about playing chess, not checkers.
These digital tools let the orthodontist spot potential roadblocks way in advance, like a really stubborn rotation or a tight spot, and then design the solution right into the plan from day one. It's proactive problem solving. Of course, even with the best plan in the world, challenges can pop up. Biology is complicated. But what's so important to understand is that these are known hurdles, and expert orthodontists have a whole playbook of strategies ready to go. One of the most common ones is something called aligner tracking failure. It's pretty much what it sounds like. For whatever reason, the teeth start to lag behind the plan, and eventually the aligners just don't fit quite right anymore. It can happen if the plan was a little too aggressive or if the aligners aren't worn as prescribed. So what's in the playbook to prevent this or fix it if it happens? Well, there are a bunch of pro moves. Limiting how many teeth are moving at once is a big one, using those clever attachments for better grip. Sometimes creating just a hair's width of space between teeth to give them room to move. And of course, keeping a close eye on progress so tiny adjustments can be made along the way. Here's another classic challenge: rotating teeth that are kind of round, like canines. Imagine trying to turn a smooth, round doorknob with just the flat palm of your hand. It's really hard to get a good grip, right? Well, the plastic aligner faces the same physical problem. The solution? Those specialized attachments that give the aligner a distinct shape to grab onto, allowing it to apply that rotational force with pinpoint control. All right, so we've covered the plan, the science behind it, and the strategies to keep it on track. But this whole field is evolving at lightning speed. So let's wrap up by looking at where this is all going, because the future isn't just digital, it's artificially intelligent. Just look at this journey. We went from people literally planning these things by hand to the incredible 3D visualization we have today. But the next leap is already starting. We're moving into an era of AI-driven optimization, where powerful algorithms help design the most efficient and predictable plan, and then, eventually, to real-time monitoring. So, what does this mean for you? Well, it means treatment plans that are designed with the help of AI that has learned from millions of other cases. It means machine learning figuring out the absolute best staging sequence for your specific teeth. We're also going to see smarter materials that deliver forces even more precisely, and systems that let your orthodontist track your progress in real time, maybe without you even having to leave your house. But here's the thing I really want you to take away from all this. Even with AI and all this mind-blowing tech, the heart of a successful treatment is never going to change. The fundamental principles of biomechanics, that biological dance of how teeth move, and the art and science of creating a precise staging plan, that will always, always be the most important part of the puzzle. So if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this. A great result with clear aligners doesn't come from the plastic. It comes from the plan. Everything, and I mean everything, depends on a well-designed, thoughtful, and expertly executed staging protocol. And that leaves us with one last question to think about. As these incredible planning tools get smarter and smarter, learning from every single case that came before, will we eventually reach a point where getting a perfect smile is almost